for downloading this episode of Cork Talk with me, Tim Atkin. A weekly conversation with some of the most famous people in the world of wine. Adriana Ochoa is the sixth generation of her family to make wine in Navarra, but the first to have studied in Bordeaux and worked in Australia. Since she took over from her father Javier in 2004, she's been responsible for moving Bodegas Ochoa towards organic farming, harnessing technical progress in the vineyard and winery to understand and improve on the past. She's the perfect person to talk about one of Spain's most exciting wine regions. Hi, Adriana. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Hello.
Nice to see you. And you're in Olite, aren't you, at the winery?
Yes, I'm in the old house, so in my parents' house. That's the base of the family Ochoa here in Olite, yes.
And you're sixth generation, aren't you? You and your sister Beatriz, this amazing family going back to what, 1843, is it?
Yeah, 1845. Actually, the winery here, the building was built in 1845. Yeah. But the winery and the starting making wines, it was in 1845. Yes.
1845, okay. And it was really your grandfather who was called Adriano, and you're called Adriana after him, aren't you?
Yeah.
Who really, took the winery to a different level, because he was the person who planted vineyards, wasn't he? 80 hectares of grapes.
Yeah. He was actually the winery. So we have 6 generations in the family, but that was Adriano. So as you say, I'm named after him. So I'm very proud of this. Who started with viticulture as the main thing, to make his own wines and to sell them. So it was very, very important for the family, a big step forward.
And he was a bit of a pioneer because he planted Garnacha. Well, Garnacha was there for roses, but also Moscatel, Moscatel Muscat de Petit Grain. Yeah,
sí, Muscat de Petit Grain.
Grano pequeño. What do we say
menudo.
in Spanish?
We say Moscatel de grano menudo.
De grano menudo,
he used to have Garnacha for sure, Moscatel for sure. I think that Tempranillo too, but we don't exactly know the quantity of varieties that he had. But he was quite a pioneer because he wanted to control every single step to make the wines and to bottle them. It was not something very usual at this time in here in Navarra.
Because everything was sold in bulk, was it?
He had a bottling line and you could put whichever bottle you wanted. You bring your bottle from your house and you could bottle in this bottling line. So it was something quite special.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, your father, Javier, who we'll talk about in a minute, he came back to the winery in 1965 when Adriano died, sadly. And Adriano was just 19. And I didn't know, I know your father well, I didn't know he wanted to be a photographer. And he took lots of photographs through his life, hasn't he?
Yeah. My father always had the photography around him, and he was making pictures all over the world when he could travel. So, and he has always his camera with him. So it's something that has gone with him all his life. But as my grandfather died, so he had to take a decision to stay here or to keep doing photographies. He even had he was just on the point to work in Paris as a photographer, but he decided to come back. So I thank him for that.
Well, he's certainly been very good at wine as well. He's a very important figure in the history of Navarra, really. I mean, so he came back and he worked in the winery, but he was also involved in research and development, wasn't he, in this research institute, really, from 1981 to 92 called Evena. And the first time I met him, I think, was at Evena. And then I went to the winery Ochoa. So was he doing both at the same time with your mum as well, right?
Yeah. My mother was here at the same time that my father was. He was the director of the research station, so Evena, and he was doing the wines also here in the winery. And my mother, she was dealing with everything, with sales, marketing, even exporting wines in the 80s, which was something quite new. So that's I think that they make a great team, and so together they have done Ochoa as it is right now.
I mean, and he brought in lots of wine, lots of grapes, didn't he, to Navarra?
Yeah.
Cabernet, I think, Chardonnay. Was that him who brought those in and experimented with them? Merlot, was that him?
Actually, that was government of Navarra wanted him to choose the best, the most suitable varieties for Navarra. At this time, they call it like getting mejorantes. Getting better wines.
Improving grapes.
Grapes. And that was something about government of Navarra. So my father, his work was just to do a heap of, it was a huge work to control different varieties. And at the end, he said, okay, Chardonnay is very good. It works very well in Navarra, and also Merlot and Cabernet, because we have a history also with France. We are the nearest DO to next to France, so we have a history, and there is even some Merlots and Cabernets here from the old times. So and they work very well. So he said, if I have to choose, I choose these three.
Okay, yeah. I mean, amazing background. You're sixth generation. You're always going to be a winemaker, weren't you? Were you ever thinking you didn't want to be a photographer, did you?
No, I wanted to be a journalist.
Oh, did you? Oh, no. Glad you didn't do that, I'll tell you.
No, journalist, but hopefully I went into wine. I think I'm much better into wine than in journalism. So.
And so did you work with your parents in the winery and in the vineyards and stuff?
Yeah. I was working for many years. Actually, I arrived to the winery in 2004, but I was working for it was more than 10 years with my father. But he was once I arrived, he gave me the keys of the winery, and he told me, "That's for you." I go to the vineyard. So he stayed in the vineyard. I stayed in the winery, but we were working together. So it was very nice. I learned a lot, and I am still learning from him.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's amazing that you're from Navarra, and as you said, you've got this connection with France.
Yeah.
But you went to study in France, and I don't think you spoke great French when you went. You did a BTS, didn't you? Which is like a further qualification, and then you did your degree, which is your diplôme d'œnologie nationale. The DNO. Right. These are big things. So you were studying in Bordeaux first of all, and then Toulouse, right?
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah, no, I arrived to France, and I speak no a word, nothing in French, and I arrived to my BTS. It was quite hard, but hopefully I had a great thing that I found one of my best friends. So it's almost like my sister, Barbara Palacios.
Great, yeah.
Because we were at the same studies together, so she could understand, and I didn't care how to speak, in French. I didn't know how, but I was speaking. So together we made a big team, and at the end of course we had the BTS, and it was a fun time. We learned a lot, of course French, but many other things also from wines and viticulture.
Oh, I love it. And the BTS, you worked at Château Petrus, or you studied at Château Petrus, didn't you? Looking at the way that Merlot adapted. So was that useful when you came back to Navarra, that you thought, okay, you've worked with some pretty good Merlot at Château Petrus, right?
Yeah. Well, it was amazing time. I was working in Muex, so I was not only in Petrus. I was making mostly the controls, ripeness control, and so on. But I was working in other wineries also from the group, and it was amazing how to learn how to do the best Merlot in the world. And I arrived here to the winery in Olite, and I said to my father, "Oh, I know how to do the Merlot. I know you're not doing right, Dad. That's not the way to do." And he told me, "Okay, let's do something. You do your way in a small thing, in a small time, and I do my way." And I say, "Okay, let's try." His wine was fantastic, and my wine was like marmalade.
Was it? It was terrible.
Awful. It was terrible because the climate is not the same in Pomerol, of course, and the soil is not the same. And so the ideas that you get there, you have to understand what you are doing to do that here. Is not something about you have to wait 10 days after. No, it's not something like that.
It's interesting. Yeah, you can't just take Chateau Petrus ideas and move them to Olite, right?
And
you also
that's great.
Yeah, I think it is great. I mean, you also spent a little bit of time, didn't you, at Chateau Pichon, Longueville, Comtesse de Lalande in Pauillac, and there you were working on aging of red wines on lees, right?
Lees,
is that right?
Yeah. That was the beginning of making like softer wines, because the idea of it was a long time ago, but the very strong wines, tannic wines, it was starting to be. People were getting tired of that.
Yeah, so they wanted softer wines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you went back to the Bodegas Ochoa, a technical director, 2004. You were in the winery, your dad more in the vineyards. But you also worked at Torres, didn't you? The Familia Torres in Catalonia, and elsewhere, and Yolumba in Australia, presumably with Louisa Rose.
Yes.
What did those two experiences teach you? I mean, obviously, in Australia, you learnt some Australian or some English. but also, what was it like working outside France, really, but in Spain and Australia?
When I went to France, I had like a very romantic way of doing wine. Everything is about terroir. You learn how to do great wines, and more in the wineries that they make great wines. But when I wanted to see other things, and I wanted to go to a big winery that do good wines. So that's why I wanted to go to Torres, and also I didn't have I was making red wines, but I wanted to do also white wines. So I was with the team of Torres, that they are great, doing Milmanda and Fransola. Working with Chardonnay, with some Sauvignon Blanc, but also with other varieties from Catalonia. So it was a great experience, and also I could see how you can be precise. In a big winery, you can do great wines if you control everything. So you have more to choose, which is great. And then in Australia, actually they called me for making Tempranillos over there. So Louisa called me and told me, "Do you want to come with me to do Tempranillo?" So it was amazing. And so I in Australia, I just fell in love with viticulture and winemaking in Australia, because they are so pragmatic, and they do great wines, but also they can do like big amounts of wine, but with quality. And I don't know, it was a really good experience for me, apart from the English that was very difficult to understand at the beginning.
Well, your English is fantastic, I think.
No, thank you.
Listen, tell us a little bit about Navarra, because some people, listening to this podcast, who they know it's in Spain, they know it's, maybe quite near Rioja, but they don't know exactly where it is. You said it's kind of between Rioja and France in a way, but, it's got different sub-regions. It's very different, isn't it? Some bits are very high, some bits are lower. Tell us about the climatic influences, maybe the soils and the sub-regions, just a little bit. Give us a, as you say in English, a bird's eye view from the air of Navarra. Yeah.
Navarra is a fantastic region for growing grapes, because we have different climates, and we are the more northern DO for red wines in all Spain.
Because Somontano is white, is it?
It's more. But they have reds too. But no, if you look,
you're further north.
Right. We are further north. The thing is that they have the Pyrenees just next to them, but we have an Atlantic influence from the sea, because we are just next to Basque Country. So Basque Country, there is Rioja, and we are just in the middle with France. So we have this influence from the Atlantic Sea, but also we have something that is very important for us. We have a desert in Navarra. It's the biggest desert in Europe. It's the Bardenas Reales. Nobody knows it, but
I didn't know that.
that's really, really important regarding the climate, because we have a Atlantic climate that suddenly fights or finds the desert. So sometimes we have like very Atlantic wines, and some others we have like very desertic wines. So it's amazing to do great wines and with good acidity, which is something that I think is important for us. And of course, we have very much calcareous soil, really stony, and we have other regions like Tierra Estella, Ribera Alta, Ribera Baja, but the desert marks everything.
And what's the highest you can go in Navarra?
The highest, I think, is 600 and something. No. In the south, there is somewhere in Fitero.
There's some Garnacha, isn't there, 800 or something?
Yeah. In Fitero, in the south, there is some higher places. Yes.
Yeah, and you've got what, 140 hectares, and where are they? Because you've got a bit of a mixture of stuff. You've got some in Traibuenas, haven't you? And you've got some close to Olite, which is the home of the winery. How different are they?
They are very different. When Traibuenas, that's where we have the main quantity of grapes. But this is just in the door north of this desert. So that's where we have the big influence of the desert. The biggest is just there. And that's amazing, because if we compare Traibuenas with Olite, we have more than 10 days of difference, and we are just 12 kilometers from Olite to Traibuenas. Traibuenas is 12 kilometers south. So that's a big influence. We have also Olite, so there are fresher wines, and we are trying now, we are doing different things in different kind of soils. We have a vineyard in San Martin also. We are regarding other places in order to have a consistent quality every year.
Yeah. And is San Martin more like Traibuenas or more like Olite?
More mountain. Actually, it's
mountain.
higher as mountain. It's higher in altitude, and it's more like more north than Olite, I would say.
So Traibuenas, you've got more Cabernet Sauvignon there, have you? Because it's warmer.
The Cabernet Sauvignon, I have it here in Olite. I used to have it in Traibuenas, but we have pulled out the Cabernet that we had there. The problem, Cabernet with climate change, it doesn't go very well in this region, because the alcoholic degrees goes very high. So the grapes are too concentrated to make you can do great wines, but very tannic and very concentrated with 15 degrees. So that's not my point. It's not my objective. I prefer to do other things with my own varieties.
And you grow quite a few things, French grapes, but also Spanish grapes. What are the dominant grape varieties in Navarra as a whole? Is it Garnacha because of the Rosados or because of the Rosés?
No, the main variety in red is Tempranillo. And then the second one is Garnacha. And then, I don't know, maybe it's Merlot. You have a bunch of different varieties. We have Merlot. Cabernet, I think, is one of the least. We don't have much more Cabernet in Navarra. We have Graciano, which is an amazing variety that I love. But mainly it's Tempranillo and Garnacha.
And the whites, Chardonnay, and a little bit of Viura, because you have some Viura as well.
But the variety here, the variety from here, from Navarra and La Rioja is Viura. And then we have Chardonnay that goes much better, I would say more north, more going to Tierra Estella, that works better. We have some, but it's better. I prefer high altitude for that. And then we have also Moscatel that has been here for forever. Because we know that in 12th century there was already Moscatel here in Navarra.
Wow.
So
and you're specialists, aren't you, in Moscatel? You dominate I mean, you make a very good dry style, and you make a delicious sweet wine as well, a late pick style, don't you?
Yeah. Well, that's a variety that in our house is part of the family, you know.
Oh, is it? Right,
okay. Yeah, because my grandfather used to have. My father has done the sweet wine that you say, and I'm doing some low alcohol wines and also some dry. It's fantastic.
So it's been there since the 12th century, but Adriano planted it, didn't he? In these 80 hectares that he did. In when was that? Was that in the 40s, the 50s?
But it should be the 40s. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, something like that. So, we don't know exactly the year actually. Yes, but.
And it's interesting that, you know, you and Beatriz, your sister, you know, very much running the winery together, and you started in 2014 to work with organic and regenerative agriculture, didn't you, in your vineyards? Just tell us where you are now. Are you certified organic? Just tell us a little bit about how you farm.
Yeah, actually, the change. Well, we have been always very trying to be the most sensitive with nature, I would say. Yeah. But it was in 2010. There was a channel of water of Navarra, so we could irrigate with water coming from the Pyrenees, which is great. But remember that I told you that we are next to the desert, so that makes a thing, and so it was great. But the problem was that the neighbors, they could irrigate too, and they started to put sparklers, sprinklers. Sorry, and so the problem was that suddenly the place that was amazingly clean started to have other things, and so that was the point that we say, okay, let's change this. In our vineyards, we don't want that. We don't want the conventional agriculture with treatments, with herbicides, with everything. And so that was the moment to change. And so we started to work organically in our vineyard, we have olive trees too, everywhere. We closed our vineyard with olive trees. So we have all the vineyard are surrounded by olive trees, and we started to work like that. And right now we have 100% of the red varieties are certified organic. The whites, we run them organically, but we don't have the certification because the Moscatel is quite sensitive to iridium. So if iridium goes in, I don't have Moscatel. So that's why I don't have the whites certified. But no herbicides, and if I can, I don't use any systemic in this. And that's for us, it's a philosophy. And in the last years, since we started with organic, we started also with regenerative practices. And now we are getting like stronger, in regenerative, and that's amazing. I love
animals? That. Using animals in the vineyards?
We try. Yeah. We have. Because we have some sheep that goes around in Traibuenas, that the sheep in Navarra, they went from the Pyrenees to the south, to the desert. In summer they went to the Pyrenees, and that's something that stays still in our place. So we try to put these sheep in our vineyard.
Sheep in the vineyard.
Yeah, but also we have green covers. We do decompacting the soil. We work as much as we can this way.
It's a big change. I mean, I think it's quite challenging to work organically. You've talked about, problems with you said iridium, didn't you, with Moscatel. I mean, people in South Africa, a couple of people said to me, the yields now are so low because the vineyards are very dry and it's quite difficult to work organically. Are you finding that with climate change, it's getting more difficult to work organically, or is it easier to work organically? I don't know. I mean, it's not as wet, right?
No, for me, it's not something about the yieldings are lower, but when you work organically, you look for a balance in your vineyard, not to have problems with diseases. So if I have 10,000 kilos per hectare, I will have problems with diseases, that's for sure. But if my vineyard is balanced and I give my vineyard what she needs to recover from diseases, I don't have any problem. So for me, it's like easier to be organic than being conventional in the vineyard, and also. The yielding, they go down, but the quality is much better. So that's you have to find the balance with the price you sell your wines, and that's it.
I mean, how is Navarra coping with climate change? I mean, you've talked about the desert. And I just wonder, varieties like Merlot, which is a great variety well. I mean, Merlot doesn't really like heat, does it? I mean,
I have to tell you that that's one of my more consistent varieties every year. Because we have irrigation.
Okay.
I would say that I'm more working on my own varieties, so Tempranillo, Graciano, Garnacha, more than Merlot. But Merlot is always consistent. Always it's very small, no problem with diseases, nothing. And the quality is always very, very good. The yieldings are not really high. The problem that we can have with Merlot is the degree, alcoholic degree. So the sugar, it goes up very, very fast. But if not, I think that's a good variety that if you have irrigation, you can control very well.
Okay, yeah. And then what about things varieties that have very good acidity in the heat, like Graciano and Garnacha? Are people going to plant more of those, do you think, with these warmer vintages?
Yeah, I think so. And that's the normal thing to do, is to recover our own varieties. We had Garnacha, which is a great variety. We had Graciano, which is, it's amazing. That's a variety that I love, and that makes a very special wines. So that's what we are doing. All the growers is going back to our origin and to the varieties that work in our soil.
You've got this very interesting project with Garnacha. You're working with 200 different biotypes, aren't you,
more.
with Garnacha? More. All right. Okay. It's increased. And just tell us about, how different are they? And what do you get from them? Do you get yield? Do you get flavor? Do you get acidity? How different are they?
Actually, I have a vineyard that was planted by my father. That is great. I mean, it's a fantastic Garnacha, but I have to say that I am not a big Garnacha fan. Never have been a big Garnacha fan because sometimes that's a variety that disappoints me. The oxidation and everything, but I wanted to do a special Garnacha, and so I started to talk with University of Navarra, and they have done a selection of the very old biotypes of Garnacha that they could find in Navarra. And I say, oh, that interests me because that's like drinking your history, And so what I did was to overgraft in my vineyard all these different Garnachas. And so what I have there is they are really vibrant, actually, because they have some of them, they have, as you say, they are like bigger and they get ripe like later. Some others that are really concentrated and that they are amazing. But altogether, I think that's the best thing to do, to have the 200 of them.
I mean, historically, Navarra was known for rosé, wasn't it? Yeah. Made from Garnacha. That Rioja was red and probably Penedès was white because Rueda didn't really exist then. And Navarra was famous for its rosés. Is that still true today? I mean, you make a very good one. How important is it for the image of Navarra to make good rosé?
It's becoming less and less important, I would say. It is important for us, and that's a style of rosé. But now there is lots of people doing rosés, and one of the problem that we have with the rosé, that I think that Garnacha is the best region to grow grapes to make a great rosé. I'm sure of that. But the thing is that everybody is doing rosé rosé right now, as the trend of the wines from France, the light, the paler rosé that exists. So everybody is doing that. So the quantity of people that drinks rosé is smaller. And so you know that the trend is to drink more rosé, but it's not enough. We need more people drinking rosé to stand up.
And your style is deep. Navarra historically has always been deeper in colour, hasn't it?
Yeah.
If Côte de Provence is that very pale onion skin colour, that yours is a bit more like a Tavel or something from the set.
We have two. We have two actually. I have one that is lighter, coming from this garnachas, this selection of garnacha, and another. This one is paler and it has longer life, I would say, and the other one is the classic style of Navarra. But I find it's fantastic too. I think that they can live together perfectly in the market. So
just tell me how many wines you make today, because I think earlier this year you've divided the range now, haven't you? And I think it's a very good rebrand. And what do I know? Anyway, about marketing. But they're called Ahora, now, aquí, here, and Siempre, always.
Yeah.
And how do they differ? Siempre is the wines you've always made, presumably, is it?
But instead of always, I like to say in English forever, because forever, because that's something that says that you have been here for many years, but you will be here in a long term. So but for us now, here forever, it has been our 3 words, more special words, because that's the moment that we are right now, Beatriz and I. Now is the moment that we are the wines, vibrant wines to drink every day or in every occasion with friends. Each one of them has one value that says the values of the family. So friendship, honesty, or resilience.
Easy drinking, really.
Easy drinking, but enjoyable wines. Here, it's where we are. So all of these wines are coming from only one vineyard, only one variety, and explains very much what they have to say. And forever is, so it's something that we like to do. We have been doing that for forever, and we will be doing this for many more years.
Tell me a little bit about your winemaking style, because you had this training in Bordeaux. You worked at 2, with Moexes, a series of chateaus, and at Pichon-Comtesse, but you've also worked with Torres, and you've worked in the New World in Australia. How would you describe your winemaking style? What was the bit that influenced you most? I mean, your dad as well, because he's pretty knowledgeable, isn't he? And he's a very good winemaker.
Yeah, he's great. And that's what I was going to tell you. So the good things of traveling is that you learn many things. But there is something that my father told me when I arrived here is do whatever you want, but the wine has to be good to drink. And I mean, it's something so simple, but that's the reality. I want to make wines for people to enjoy and to know what they are. If they are drinking a wine from here, I love that they see the vineyard and the climate that we have. Maybe the desert, why I do the wine. But for me, elegant wines, balanced wines, and that have histories to say, to tell. That's what I want to do. So maybe I'm not very much at the beginning. I was much more like powerful wines, but now I like more the lighter style. Like
you've changed, have you?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we've all changed. Do you think? I mean, I think I like lighter wines than I did 10 years ago. Maybe it's just warmer summers. I don't know.
No, but that's something that happens. Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about research and development, because obviously your dad's had this very important role in the 80s at EVENA, which was the Navarra Research Institute. And I found an interesting quote from you. You said that R&D, research and development, is not only about technical progress, it's also about learning and revisiting traditional methods through the lens of technology. Can you just give us an example of something where they did traditionally and you've gone back and said, okay, they were doing the right thing, but I understand it better? Just give us a couple of examples, maybe. Of that.
Yeah, for me, in the vineyard is one of these examples. I know that my grandfather used to say, this vineyard is fantastic, and I will always do a great wine in this vineyard, because that always gives something good. But what I do is, okay, let's see, this here is great. Why it is great? So I have drones to fly and to have all this information. I have sensors of temperature, humidity, sensors in the soil. I have many different things that tell me, okay, you have these things that are great in this vineyard. So that's why it's great. Okay, let's try to reproduce that in other vineyards. Let's see if with this irrigation I can do something, or maybe with a cover crop, or maybe, I don't know, putting another variety in this soil, I can get the same things than in this one. So it's to learn. There is some things that you just say, oh, this is great. Okay, perfect.
But now you know why.
Yeah. It's understanding everything. And also for instance, another example is a Moscatel. Nobody was doing like a fresh, fruity Moscatel in the 80s, in the 90s. And we started making a completely different style. And suddenly the variety is bright. It's a bright variety. So we can do great things. So we have to look to what was good before to see what we can do next. So that's this.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes you say what was good before, you can't be improved, but you understand why you're doing it, right?
Yeah. And sometimes if you understand why it was good and why it was this way, you can improve your other wines thanks to this learning. So that's great.
Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit more about your sister and also about your mum.
Yeah.
So your sister's Beatriz, your mother is Mariví, Alemán.
Yes.
And the two of them, and you obviously, have had a big influence on the development of the bodega, and you run it effectively. I mean, your dad's still involved as well. Do you think, are bodegas run by women different? I mean, does it feel different because it's run by three amazing women?
Thank you. I don't know. I can't say, because that's my life has always been here. And when my father was running the winery, but of course, always he said that he was very well surrounded. And my mother, she's amazing. She was fixing what my father, he could not fix. So that's a great team. And right now, that's my sister and I. So I don't know, maybe it's different. We're a family winery. We try to have our employees, our people, to feel like they are home. And for us, that's very important. And I believe in talent. That's the only thing. So it's no matter if that's women or men. But that's true that we have lots of women in our team. And
you seem to get along very well as a group, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
There's a nice relationship and there's a nice atmosphere. I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. And we have I have the technical the girl for the vineyards, women. We have many fantastic women running working in the winery.
That's good to hear. Listen, the final thing I want to ask you is how you get away from wine. I mean, have you ever wanted to make wine somewhere else, in another country, or have you done all of that? You've done Australia, you've done France. Do you ever think, hey, I'd love to make wine in, I don't know, New Zealand or Argentina?
2005, I say, okay, after coming from Australia, I said, next year I'm going to, and my father told me, no, you will go to the UK to sell wine, but no more winemakers.
Where were you going? Where were you planning to go?
I have Chile and Argentina.
Right, okay.
There are two places that I would love to go,
Now? Would you like to go now?
Yeah. Well, maybe not now I don't think that I could go for the harvest. It's difficult, but that's a place that that's for sure I will go to visit and to learn more things about them, because that's a place that I love.
And how do you get away from wine? I mean, you've got a young family. Obviously, you're running a business. You're pretty busy. But I mean, do you like doing? Are you a singer?
No, at all. I sing very bad, actually. No, I like to read. I like photography too, but not as the level of my father at all. But I love that. But after being with you today, I will go. We have in the winery, we have a concert today, so I will have a glass of wine with my friends.
and music. You love music.
Yeah, I love music. Yeah.
But
I
you don't sing.
No, I don't sing at all, but I love music and and reading, and I love art and traveling for holidays. Not so much for selling wine, but for holidays, I love that.
Okay, listen, Adriana, it's been fantastic talking to you. I love what you and your sister and your mum and your dad have achieved and are still achieving at Ochoa. They're fantastic wines that kind of, an expression of Navarra that is just wonderful. Anyway, it's been lovely talking to you, and I'll see you very soon.
Thank you very much. Bye, Jim.
Adriana is such a knowledgeable and sensitive winemaker, and I love what she and her sister Beatriz have achieved at Bodegas Ochoa. Next week on Cork Talk, my guest is Jason Lett from Eyrie Vineyards in Oregon. Join me then. Thanks for listening to Cork Talk. If you want to read more reports, articles and tasting notes by me, go to my website, timatkin.com. You can also follow me on Twitter @timatkin and on Instagram @timatkinmw. See you next week.